Welcome, humans, and any celestial body else out there listening. This is Curious Minds, Infinite Answers. I'm your host, Courtney Christine Coskin. This podcast, simply put, is a mix of human curiosity and how, with the help of AI technology, curious minds can get the answers we seek. Let's get mind-bending and plunge deep beneath the surface of our everyday thoughts. Let's begin.
I want to start today's episode by saying something I never talk about out loud. I don't like to feel like I'm dragging others down with my problems or low vibrations, unless you're my mom. Hi, Mom. Or a very close, trusted friend. I wanted to be the one that could help, not the one that needed the help. I've recently come out of a season where I felt like I was dying. Not literally, though some days the thoughts did get very dark. I'm a happy kid, or at least I used to be. Sometimes we find ourselves in places that are not good, whether that be physically or mentally, and we have no idea how we even got there. Well, that was me. Everything inside me felt hollowed out. I wasn't just lost, I was exhausted. My body always felt heavy, my brain was always foggy, my chest was always tight. I had this desperate gnawing feeling that there was no future for me. I wanted one, I wanted to see it, but I had no vision. I took every online test I could find that's supposed to help you figure out who you are and strengths and weaknesses, but my internal compass was broken. Didn't know which way to look and could not for the life of me figure out how to process and address it. Anyway, on the outside, I looked happy, positive, put together, I guess. But inside, there was a world of turmoil and confusion running amok. I would get a burst of energy and I'd reach frantically for anything that might stick. I tried my hand at writing a children's book. I think I sent my mom 3 different business ideas, like the elderly companionship app I wanted to create, until I realized it was already something that existed, or there was no way it was going to work out with a long laundry list of insurance coverages I'd need. I even began sketching out a course on how to find your confident voice. I was going to name it the Vocal Mastery Lab and wear a white lab coat during my instructions. But then I myself wasn't in any place of confidence to teach what I was about to preach. I applied for jobs from Texas to Singapore. No joke. I scraped the internet for meaning. I chased every idea like it could be the thing to pull me out. I was so desperate to fill what felt like a bottomless void. Oh, I did start a podcast. That one stuck. I combed YouTube for experts' advice on how to become your best self, manifest your dreams, how to obtain your vision, and on and on and on. I mean, who doesn't love self-help books and videos? Well, the categories in self-help began to evolve into various other categories until I found myself diving into YouTube rabbit holes on first-hand near-death experiences, consciousness studies, quantum ideas about time, the meaning of existence, the birth and future of AI, and the whole universe. I was all of a sudden so hungry to understand what we don't see, to learn whether there was anything beyond this nervous, aching, present life. And somehow, in the middle of the frantic searching, I found a path. It wasn't neat. It wasn't instant. As a matter of fact, I took a mental machete to clear out the brush on multiple occasions. But I found the topic that kept pulling me back: consciousness, and what we are capable of when we are able to tap into deep states of consciousness, into a field that physics calls the unified field of all the laws of nature. Meaning, for anybody that's curious, the single underlying field that gives rise to and connects everything in the universe, from the smallest elementary particle to the largest galaxy. It's like the hidden blueprint that holds all the forces of nature together. It really is quite fascinating. Okay, so real quick, I want to make sure I'm clear and let you all know I'm not in that dark place now. I am so grateful I made it through. I am still in a place of evolving and learning and figuring out what tomorrow's version of me is going to bring. But I wanted to bring this up because this tough period I'm talking about was so recent that the memory of feeling that lost is still pretty raw. And I just wanted to put this out there to connect with those who are facing the same hell and to say, hold on, it is possible that it does get better. Those days taught me something pretty crucial, that it was all up to me to figure it out. I blame no one. That and patience. Patience, I found, is key to every single aspect of our lives. Sometimes the only thing you can do is keep reaching, even when you want to give up. When you've cried and tried to get through another day and feel like it'll never happen, whatever it is, and one day, a tomorrow that you thought would never come finally does. Everybody's experience is different, but for me, I just had to wait through my own misery, push past those super dark thoughts, not give up, and keep in mind that if I had the chance to go back and tell the 6-year-old version of me who I'm meant to be and what I'm capable of, I could with confidence. Of course, the desperation itself pushed me to experiment, to create, to try, and it turns out, in my case, the reaching led me to something that actually helped fix my compass. Oh, and I learned how to publish and patent a book. Almost at the exact same time I applied for school to study consciousness, a good friend and former colleague reached out about starting a business together. 1 year later exactly, I am preparing to move to help build on the business we've started. I'm back in school, and not just any school, but one that focuses heavily on developing the mind of the student so that they're capable of taking school, stress, and ultimately life head on. Not sponsored, but if you want to check out the school, go to miu.edu. The style of learning is consciousness-based education that is helping change the world for the better, one student at a time. Coming out of this hole, I have also found beauty in the stuff of life again. Things like watching birds, meditating, taking long walks, and getting back in touch with friends, slowing down enough now so that I don't regret not slowing down later. Life has pivoted. I went from clawing at survival to living with purpose and direction again. But here's the lesson that holds me steady now. What carried me through wasn't flashy. It wasn't a massive revelation. It was 2 quiet things I learned to practice in the rubble. First, patience. And second, protecting my inner peace. Patience with the timeline of life. Patience with the fact that healing doesn't report to a calendar. I had to teach myself to wait without giving up, to keep reaching, yes, but without annihilating myself in the process. And inner peace? It's everything. I don't have to convince anyone who's turned on a news or social channel lately how important it is these days. Learning how to be still inside while the outside was chaotic. Not numbing, not pretending, learning to find a small center of calm I could return to between the frantic attempts. And that center didn't solve everything, but it gave me a place to breathe. And it let me try again tomorrow. This morning during my meditation, I held on to a thought that's been echoing since then. If I'm still alive, then I must be here for a reason. Otherwise, I wouldn't be, right? That simple sentence felt true and dangerous at the same time, because people who are alive aren't all living in a joyful story. Some are trapped in cycles of addiction, sickness, self-destruction. So does the idea that existence equals reason, even though I know I'm making this hypothesis up in my head, still apply to them? To those who keep hurting and can't seem to turn around? I don't pretend to have a neat answer. What I think I've landed on is this, though. Being alive means possibility remains. The door isn't entirely closed. Sometimes the reason someone is still here is invisible to us. Maybe it's healing they'll later experience. Maybe it's the lesson their life offers to others. Maybe it's a quiet work of the soul we can't even see. The meaning can be indirect or hidden or even painful. But if someone is still breathing, I believe that keeps potential for endless possibilities open. There's one more personal truth I'd like to share, and maybe this one is the most important. You do not have to explain your pain to anybody to deserve compassion. You don't have to produce a purpose on demand. Admitting the depression, admitting the desperation, saying, I don't know, that act is itself a radical healing step. It moves what's stuck inside into the world where it can be met and tended. If you've ever felt like I did, frantic, clawing, searching, lost, depressed, angry, I want you to know 2 things. 1, you aren't broken beyond repair. And 2, the tools that will carry you through are often quiet. patience, inner peace, and the stubborn decision to keep reaching even when reaching hurts. So I'll leave you with this question, the one I sat with for a long time this morning. If you're still here, what hidden reason might your existence be serving right now? It may not be obvious, it may not be comfortable, but it's there. And sometimes that small, fragile truth is enough to start again. If you're listening and you're still in the thick of it, if you're staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. wondering, what's the point? Please hear me. You are not weak, and you are not alone. If this episode landed somewhere in you, I'd love to hear from you. Send me a note. Tell me where you're at, what you're reaching for, and let's figure it out together. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here in this moment. Until we meet again.
Thank you for tuning in to Curious Minds, Infinite Answers. I'm Courtney Christine Koskin, and I hope you'll join me for next week's episode as we proceed down the path of curiosity and discovery, uncovering various topics along the way. If you have any comments or want answers to your burning curiosities, drop me a line in the comments below. Until we meet again, find the good in the world, and if you can't find it, be the good.